Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is look forward at your life. Well, right now, this is like the October of 2020 in the U.S., so we're all kind of waiting for the election in November for the president. So you kind of sit around waiting for bated breath what's going to happen, right? You're worried if your candidate doesn't win, how's that going to affect you? And if your candidate wins, you'll be happy, and if your candidate loses, well, then you'll be upset. I don't think that's a healthy way to look at things at all, though. I would look at it more as what are you doing for yourself? Whether you think your candidate will come in and save the day, that's a pretty big assumption. I think you'll be better off just focusing on your life, looking forward. What should you be doing now to try to make your life better? What kind of steps can what things will make your life better? Just go ahead and do those things. Once the election happens and things are clarified who the winner is, there'll be some adaptation period. Well, we've always had this, right? Every 4 years there's an adaptation. These elections, these national elections they're almost like a natural disaster that we have to just deal with. It comes around every 4 years like a massive hurricane, and a lot of people are involved in managing things, and all the rest of us are worried about what's happening. And I don't know. I'd almost prefer not to worry about it at all. But I'm spending a lot of time looking at my Twitter feed, all the people I kind of want to get information from, see what they have to say, and on a all day and daily basis, and trying to glean information from news sources, trying to figure out what's what in all of this. And it's kind of maddening, to put your life, to me it's maddening to put your life on hold waiting for the results of the election. I know even when I had jobs, sometimes everything was kind of put on hold while we're waiting for whoever's going to win. Nobody was doing anything. I think it's almost comical in its own insanity to be waiting like that for just the results of an election. But that's what we do. But I'm trying to focus more on my life, more on what I need to do. And it isn't even need. It's a lot of this is want to do. I want to add things into my life, and then and to make my life better. And in order to add those things in, what do I have to remove or minimize so I have time enough to enjoy the new things fully? That's a balancing act, right? You don't always want to just add to your life. Sometimes you want to subtract, and sometimes you may want to subtract a lot. A lot of men, a lot of people in general, they just keep adding, and then you never really have time to do the things you like to do the most, or those things are so minimal, you have such minimal time that you can't fully enjoy them. Or worse, you spend all your time doing stuff you don't want to do instead of what you want to do. So again, bring the focus back to you. What can you do? What are some major issues, problems, frustrations that you have? And then what kind of things can you do to alleviate those problems? That kind of frustration will just eats away at your life like you wouldn't believe when you have frustrations. like I said, I was married, and I have a book called Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with a 3-Step System, available on the happierman.com website. And the book kind of outlines I talk about the enormous problems I had in the years leading up to my leaving my wife, and how I decided to leave her, and then quite a bit of the preparation and the aftermath, to give you an idea of what you may be facing and some ways out of the pain. But again, when I was going through that, I just focused on that. My life was a mess. I didn't want it to continue to be a mess. I was miserable. I didn't want to continue to be miserable. I took drastic, enormous action, enormous effort, and persistence on my part to become happier. And if you're just, waiting for these elections, to me, that's just a totally foolish thing to worry about. It's almost as foolish as that your team that you watch on TV, thinking that your life is going to be better if they win or they lose. Whether they win or lose, it's just entertainment. With the presidential race, whether your candidate wins or loses, if you can think of it just as entertainment, you'll be much, much happier. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's just a show. It's interesting. If you take that kind of stuff too seriously, you're not going to be happy. You need to focus on moving your life forward. What can you do now? What can you do next week, next month, next year? Start listing the plans. Make your own plans. You can't wait for the president to tell you what your plans are, can you? I mean, that's just totally ridiculous. That would be almost as ridiculous as you expecting the president to follow through on your plans. That's not how it works. You have a life. You would move forward on your life, crafting it, creating it, deciding what's necessary and what isn't necessary. Give that idea some thought. The more you can focus on your own life, man, the happier you're going to be. And conversely, the more you focus on other people's lives, especially at the national level, the worse your life is going to get. And we see this, right? We see this all the time. People obsessed with spouting off their opinions on various issues, and thinking that that's going to make a huge difference. I'm not sure that it will. Of course, I'm sitting here spouting off my opinions on all this, but I think you'll notice that what I'm saying is, bring it back to you. What can you actually do? What is within your capacity now, or in the near future, or even the far future, to change? That will make the biggest difference in your life. And if you do it, if you follow through with it, if you got a bad job, well, you're going to have to quit and get a different job. If you're applied for work and they won't hire you, well, you got to keep applying to whatever. Right? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, you need the persistence just to work relentlessly on your life. And the more you do that, the more persistent and relentless and you are, the more likely things are going to work out for you. If you just kind of let things roll with how they roll, things aren't going to work out for you. You got to put in the effort to make your life better. All for now.